Hello, Mrs. Houston here for our Regents review, number 17. In a geometric sequence, the first term is 4 and the common ratio is -3. The fifth term of this sequence is, all right, so I like to make like little lines for my terms. It just means like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're trying to find the fifth term. Okay, the first term is the first number that you write. And when it says that the common ratio is -3, that is the number that you're going to multiply by. So, and we're going to do that every time. I'm putting the times, there we go. So, in the calculator, let's use it. We start with 4 times -3. I get -12. So that is the second term of the sequence. Now I have to multiply it by -3 again. You just keep continuing the pattern. Okay, and notice since we're multiplying by a negative, a positive times a negative, like +4 times -3 was -12. But now -12 times -3 gives us +36. So it's going to keep switching back and forth like that. Now we have a -1 again. So we have -108. And then the last, that's the fourth term. And then one more time will be our answer. 324 is the fifth term. Okay. Notice they have positives and negatives there, so you have to be careful and make sure that every time you're multiplying by a negative, and you should see this pattern where it's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. All right. 18, the amount of energy Q in joules needed to raise the temperature of m grams of a substance is given by the formula, you can see it here, where C is the specific heat capacity of the substance. If its initial temperature is T sub I, an equation to find its final temperature, T sub F, is. Okay, so this is hopefully looked like a science formula to you. I don't know if you use this one in science. I've never seen it before, at least that I remember. High school was a while ago for me. So we are trying to find its final temperature. Okay, so when you have formulas, sometimes it makes sense to rearrange the formula for a certain variable. So if you're trying to find the final temperature, that means we're going to try to isolate that variable. Okay. The tricky part with this is that there's going to be a lot of letters and it's going to look weird because we can't perform the operations when we don't know what the numbers are. So the first thing that I notice here is this MC is being multiplied by the temperatures over here because I see these parentheses. So if I'm trying to get the T sub F by itself, I'm going to first undo the multiplication by this MC. Okay, and the opposite of multiplication is division. All right, now, if you see what we have over here, Q divided by MC, we can't do anything with that because we don't know what those numbers are. So we're not going to be able to simplify it at all. We're just going to leave it as a division problem. All right, but we know that when we take something and divide it by itself, we just get 1. So we can cross that out, and we're going to bring down T sub F minus T sub I. Okay, and I'm going to scroll down a little to give myself a little more room here. Now, remember, our goal is to solve for T sub F. So if I'm trying to get this by itself, I have minus T sub I. The opposite of subtracting is adding. All right, so I'm going to add that to both sides. Now, the trick here is that the fraction doesn't change, but to it, I'm going to add t sub I, and then that leaves me with t sub f, because if you have a number, a negative number, and you add its opposite, you end up with 0. Okay, so if we go back up and look at our choices, that would be number 1. One of the other things I can suggest on questions like this, because I know that's a lot of work and all those letters look crazy, look for some of the operations and then look for the opposite. Like, since I see a minus in here, I know that to get this by itself, I'm going to have to add. Okay, so, oops, I circled the wrong answer choice. Hopefully you guys noticed that. It is not 1, it is 2, because what I was just going to say was we should eliminate the 2 options that have subtraction happening, because we're always going to have to work backwards to get a variable by itself, just like solving an equation. So we needed a plus there. So the correct answer is 2. Sorry about that.